Hello and welcome to the Crude Report, an occasional podcast here at Argus looking at global crude markets. I'm Michael Carolan, I'm the editor of the Argus Crude Report in London, and joining us today is our North Sea crude reporter at Argus, Lena Bullock. Welcome, Lena.
Hi, Michael.
So today we're looking at North Sea crude. In particular, we'll be looking at a new Norwegian crude which came on stream this year. That's Johan Karsberg, which will shortly have its own Argus assessment. And Lena will be assessing it for us. So now the North Sea, Lena, is known as a mature area with production in fairly long-term decline. So a new grade starting up is a relatively rare event.
Yes, indeed, it is quite a rare occasion. So this area of the sea between the UK coast, the Norwegian shore, and then to Denmark and the Netherlands has been in production for many decades now. Like many of the fields in that area have been discovered or came on stream in the middle of last century and have been producing since. So most of the crude grades that we have produced in the North Sea have been around for many, many years. And in the last years, companies would mainly find new fields and they would try to tie it into existing production because that allows you to save a lot of cost on the infrastructural expenses. So if you can blend a new field into an existing crude stream, you don't need to export that crude separately, right? And then from separate grades that came on stream in the last few years, the largest one was Johan Sverdrup, which came on stream in 2019. And since then, we didn't have any big startups. So Johan Karsberg is basically the next one after Johan Sverdrup, which is a separate grade, which is quite unique in a sense that it is produced from one field and is not a blend. And that field is also a very important expansion for Norway because it basically enters a new territory at the very north. So there are some fields in the Barents Sea that have been online for some time, but Sverdrup is the northernmost field that the Norway has right now.
Okay, so it's a standalone field, so it can't share costs with other operators. And of course, the Barents Sea is quite a long way north, presumably not the easiest place to drill for oil.
Yeah, so that field was supposed to come on stream late last year, and then it was delayed a few times, and it only came on stream on the last day of March this year. And Equinor, who operates Karsberg, was saying that the delays were caused by difficult weather conditions in that area. Preliminary, it is believed that harsh weather would not affect production at the field because like many grades produced in the North Sea are taken by a pipeline from the field to the shore, and there near the shore it is loaded onto tankers, which gives you a bit more safety, like the weather is not as harsh next to the shore as it is in the open sea. But Karsberg is loading directly from a floating production unit onto shuttle tankers. So some market participants believe that installation of the production unit is more difficult than actually offloading crude. So some people think that there will be no disruption, but the upcoming winter will be the first winter for this field, and we will actually see whether there'll be any delays or any issues with that.
Okay, so big test in the months ahead. Now, the quality of North Sea crude is historically pretty good. It's generally light and sweet, with the exception of a few grades, including Sverdrup, of course. How about Karsberg? What do European refiners think of it so far?
So Karsberg did not disappoint at all. It is a bit heavier than most of old North Sea grades. So it is slightly lighter than Johan Karsberg, but it is heavier than the benchmark grades or than Gullfaks or Statfjord. But it is also low sulfur and it has no harmful additives that would cause any issues at the refinery or that would require additional processing of the crude before putting it into the system. So for a refinery, it means that if the refinery runs Karsberg, it does not need any additional maintenance. And it has a very high yield of medium distillates, which is typically the most valuable product that refiners are looking for. So it is higher in value than naphtha or than bitumen or any other products at the high or at the low end of the range. And many refiners, when they saw the crude assay for this grade, at first said that it seems to be quite similar to Alfheim, which is one of the grades that is on decline now. And so far it seems like they were correct that it is a very nice grade, which is easy to refine and with excellent yields in it.
Okay, so that sounds ideal for Europe at least. Presumably that's going to make it pretty expensive.
Yes, from what we hear right now, it is quite expensive. So I've been trying to track the swings of prices in Karsberg in the last couple of months. So the first few cargoes producers typically take to their own system because they can be slightly off spec. But the next cargoes that we heard, they were trading at a premium to other light sweet grades, including WTI, on a delivered basis of anywhere from $2 to $4 a barrel. So it is quite a wide premium, but from what we hear, refiners still like the quality of the grade, so they are ready to pay this premium.
Okay, so which refiners in particular, who's been buying the grade so far?
Well, so far it exclusively stayed in Northwest Europe, including the Baltics. And Equinor took a fair bit to its own system. Then refiners in the UK took a fair share, and the Netherlands. So the Rotterdam hub was also quite a big outlet.
Okay, so the usual suspects. Has there been any interest from further afield, Asia, for example?
So we heard rumors that before even the field launched, Equinor was approaching Chinese buyers and asking whether they would be interested in crude with that kind of quality that they expected it to be. And even though the quality is good, but that grade is too expensive for Asia, and it is even too expensive for anything outside of Northwest Europe. Because the grade can only load onto shuttle tankers, it means that it cannot travel very far from the field. It also means that the demurrage costs are higher than for a normal tanker. And if you want to take it anywhere further, you would have to do a ship-to-ship transfer, which would add to your costs. And also, the size of the cargo is not ideal for a ship-to-ship transfer because it is slightly more than an Aframax, but then less than a Suezmax. So like you don't want to carry a dead weight. You can't, just take a smaller cargo. So it is likely to stay in Northwest Europe mostly.
Okay, so for now it will be a local grade. How does the trade in Carlsberg compare with other North Sea grades? There's obviously no pipelines up there, so it must be trading on a delivered basis, presumably.
Yeah, so from what we hear now, Karsberg is trading on a delivered to Rotterdam basis, so it is in a way similar to Statfjord and Gullfaks. And the initial size of the cargo was 700,000 barrels, and then it increased to 800 once the field ramped up. And it is expected to stay at 800 because you don't want to leave any dead weight on a shuttle tanker because it is quite a costly freight to take from up north to the discharge port. Um, and it also seems like the grade is mostly trading 20 to for loading to 20 to 45 days ahead. So it does sound like a bit further ahead than what we used for the North Sea.
That's a good point. That's significantly further out than traditional North Sea crudes, which of course trade from 10 days to a month ahead of the day of loading. Is that part of a wider change in the market, or is this specific to Johan Karsberg?
I think it is something that we've seen in the market quite consistently, right? So we've been hearing as well that Johan Sverdrup trades approximately like the most of trade of Johan Sverdrup is also happening in that time frame, 25 days to 45 days ahead. Of course, there will always be, or there will often be some cargoes left at the very prompt, but most of the time, like a typical Northwest European refiner would look for supplies at least 1 month ahead. So, like, they would not be looking for cargoes loading 10 days ahead. Um, and yeah, so it seems like most of grades, except for benchmark grades, are moving slightly further ahead.
Okay, this is of course is something we need to be aware of at Argus because this is happening in a few markets. So obviously we would appreciate any feedback from the market on changings of timings. We do of course try to capture trade wherever it is. Now on WTI, for example, we have two distinct trading periods for delivered Rotterdam trades. Could you just explain how we do that?
Oh, sure. So we have the first period, which is 12 days to 1 month plus 2 days ahead. And that period aligns with the local benchmark grades, and it is mostly used as a part of the dated basket for setting the physical benchmark of the Atlantic basin, right? But then most of the actual trade would happen slightly further ahead, something between 1 and 2 months ahead. And we also do a separate assessment for that period of time. And from what we heard since the inclusion of WTI into dated, there has been definitely more activity in the first period because that is now the grade of the interest and the period of the interest. But still, that would be mostly for the companies who participate in the dated market, while refineries who are only focused on securing physical barrels for their plants would be still looking a bit further ahead because that aligns better with other grades that they can get from other markets.
Great. And both of our WTI CIF Rotterdam quotes are quite widely recognized and they're used and they are distinct markets. This, of course, has developed over time. At Argus, we're always open to changing our methodologies should the market change. With our new Johan Karsberg assessment, we're confident that this does reflect today's market, but if trading patterns change, which of course they might, we will of course revisit that. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how Johan Karsberg trade develops in the future. And of course, you can read about how trade in Johan Karsberg is developing in Argus Crude, as well as on Argus Direct. And very shortly, you will be able to see Lena's daily assessment of Johan Karsberg's price. It certainly looks as if it will be a favourite among European refiners at least. So until next time, thank you, Lena, and thank you all for listening to the Argus Crude Report.